The next topic is about fractions. So we'll start by introducing about fraction, something known as simplest form, like fraction and unlike fraction. Then we look into something called as least common denominator. This helps in converting unlike fractions to like fractions. So first is this part. Then we look at addition, subtraction and multiplication, division and so on and so forth. But before this you have to do HCF and LCM. If you're not done it, please go back, do it and then come to this. You can't start this without knowing HCF and LCM. If you're already strong with that, good, take the test and come to this. If not, my request is don't jump. Okay, so let's start off with the basic idea behind fraction. If we consider the entire block as a unit, so if we have a block and if we consider that as a unit means 1, so 1 block, and if we divide them into equal parts, selecting the parts from the whole lot is done with the help of fractions. Okay, this I'll explain with a scenario. So you know about real estate, right? You heard of it at least. So what people are doing is dealers, they buy plots which is significantly big. They buy it quite some time, they invest their money in that way. It's a risk factor. Again, they have to be smart enough to understand a lot of things, or a common sense, or some take it as a risk because they have excess money, whatever they do. So this is a basic idea. They buy a big plot, they develop it in the sense they clean it, they put compound, some plant trees, which gives out good shade, or they put roads and lamps and so on and so forth. Say they divide the plot into a smaller part wherein people can buy that. So this is one entire big plot, and this person, this dealer, he has divided into 5 equal parts. Okay, so to represent that this unit is divided into 5 parts, you write it in the denominator. So this is known as denominator, and this talks about dividing the unit into equal parts, dividing. Okay, now then say a person goes and he is like, I want to buy 2 of it. So out of the 5 plots, he is buying 2 of it. This is known as the numerator, and this talks about selecting. Okay, this talks about selecting, and denominator talks about dividing the unit into equal parts. A fraction represents how much we are selecting in a given unit, which has been divided into this many parts. So a person might buy all the 5 plots out of 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1. Right? It makes sense, is it not? He bought the entire unit. Some person might buy just 1 plot, right? Some person might buy 4 plots. So this is how you represent. So fraction helps in representing for a given unit how many parts it's been divided and how much the other person is taking up. Okay, how much is been selected, right? So this is your fraction. Like main keyword is numerator and denominator. Numerator being the top one, denominator being the bottom one, right? Now the next main unit is simplest form. I told you if you need to add and subtract or divide and multiply fractions, you need to have the basic, and this set of video and this video, especially this video, I talk about that. Okay, so you can't miss anything, so please do listen up. So to know simplest form, or to do simplest form, you have to use the HCF. Okay, HCF between what? HCF between the numerator and denominator. We need to find that. So I start off with an example as usual. 10 by 20. The very first step is you need to find the HCF between 10 and 20, and that is 10. So we have numerator and denominator, so that I am dividing with 10 and 10. Okay, so 1 by 2. So what did I do? I'll repeat again. I have 10 by 20. This is not in simplest form. How do I know that? If they are not co-prime, that is when they are not in the simplest form. Okay, so here the they are not in co-prime. They are not co-prime, right? 10 and 20 are not co-prime. And because of that, we have HCF between 10 and 20 to be 10. Okay, and then we divide the numerator and denominator by 10 and 10, and thus we have 1 by 2 as your fraction, equivalent fraction, and this is in your simplest form. Okay, next question, 100 by 330. So are they a co-prime? No, they are not. Clearly they are not. As you can see, 10 is one of the factors, and let's see what is the HCF. HCF between 100 and 330. Yes, 10 is your HCF. So here too you're going to divide the numerator and denominator with 10, and thus you have 10 by 33. Now the numbers are co-prime, and thus it is in the simplest form, right? In the next question we have 16 and minus 32, negative 32. So remember, I told you before you do anything to the numbers, decide on the signs. See, here it's quite simple, so you can RMS decide on the sign. So the standard form of any fraction is that the negative number has to be in the numerator, not in the denominator. So let's see it mathematically. Positive divided by negative is negative. 16 divided by 32 is your question. And now we are looking at they are not co-prime. So we're going to divide both the numerator and denominator with the HCF, and the HCF between 16 and 32 is 16 because 16 can divide 32, so HCF is 16 itself. So minus 1 by 2. Okay. So again, always simplify the signs first, then move on to the next step. If not, don't start the next step. So here we have negative divided by negative, so it's positive. 12 by 400. Clearly they're not co-prime, and the co-prime or the HCF between 12 and 400 is what? Well, if not able to do that, just write it aside. Take the number which makes sense to you guys. We'll start with 2. Actually 4 makes sense, right? 3 is a 100 is a, and 3 and 100 are co-prime, so your HCF is 4. And now we have 12 by 400 to be converted to simplest form by dividing with 4. So we have 3 by 10. Okay, right? So this is your simplest form. Again, each of this helps you get better in math. The next topic deals with like and unlike fractions. So I have 2 columns and 2 rows, no, 3 rows, 2 columns over here, right? I want you to classify which column is like terms and which column is unlike terms. Again, you can take a guess, or you can take an educated guess, or you can just think and use your common sense. So pause the video and decide on which is like terms and which is the unlike term. Okay, so people who chose the first one to be your like term, you're right, and that's your unlike term. So again, now people who got it wrong, you can pause it and think, why is the first one like and why is the second one unlike, and what does it depend on? So the main idea between like and unlike fraction is that the denominator has to be same. It's same, here it's same. Does it matter if the numerator is same? In this case, the numerator are same, but the denominator is different? No. So what is the numerator? That won't matter. What you're looking at is only the denominator. Okay. So this does not matter. It can be anything. Example over here, 1 by 7, 3 by 8. These two are unlike fraction. Okay. So only if on simplifying, if the set of fraction has the denominator to be different, then they are unlike terms. Okay, as simple as that. So how does this classification help? Well, once you decide on the given fraction to be like terms, only then you can add and subtract. So converting unlike to like fraction is important. So before that you need to understand what is like and unlike, right? That's why this topic is being done. And next we are looking at converting unlike to like fractions. There are quite a few problems. Okay. So we'll be looking at this in detail. This is very important for your fraction addition, because I've seen again with experience kids find fraction addition, subtraction, multiplication, division tough. And 9th and 10th and 11th and 12th or so on and so forth in the future, fractions are part of your syllabus by default, right? So you can't miss this out. Now, how do you convert it? Before that, let's answer why do we need to do this. As I told you, it helps in adding and subtracting fractions. Of course, it will help in other point of time also, but main thing is to add and subtract. You need to convert fractions from unlike to like. Next question is, how do we do it? For that, I'm considering an example. 4 by 5, 3 by 25. The very first step is check the fraction if they are in simplest form. To do so, we have to see if they are co-prime with respect to their respective numerator and denominator. Okay. So 4 by 5, yes, they are co-prime. 3 by 25, yes, they are co-prime. Then next step is look at the denominator, look at the number 5 and 25, find the LCM. LCM always has to be more than or equal to the given numbers, but cannot be equal less than any of those numbers. So between 5 and 25, it's very clear that 25 is the LCM, because 5 can divide 25, and so 25 is your LCM. The last step is to do with multiplying and dividing multiplying both the numerator and denominator with a number which helps the denominator to be same as the LCM, that is 25. So in this case it's 5. So this is 20 by 25, and thus we have the first fraction to be 20 by 25. The second fraction is already 25, and so we have 20 by 25, 3 by 25 to be your like fractions. Okay, again, like fraction has to do with the denominator being same. We found the LCM to be 25. One of the fraction already has 25 as a denominator. All we have to do is convert the other one. How do you convert? Just by multiplying with the factor with a number which makes the denominator 25. It's as simple as that. Okay. So if you understand this simple set of numbers, that's more than enough. You won't get complicated numbers. All you get is simple set of numbers. Again, we have one more problem. So we have 13 by 3 by 13 and 1 by 39. This is co-prime and this is also co-prime, and so the test is done. The next step is finding the LCM between which two numbers? Yes, 13 and 39. What is the LCM? Since 13 can divide 39, the LCM is 39 itself. Since one of the number is already 39, we need not touch that. We just have to take the other number, multiply both the numerator and denominator with a suitable number, and thus you have 9 by 39. Okay, right? So and thus this question converts to 9 by 39 and 1 by 39, right, as your like fractions. That's it. Okay, next question we have 5 by 6 and 10 by 12. So check if they are in the simplest form. This is in the simplest form, this is not in the simplest form. So this we need to convert. So first thing you will do is convert 10 by 12 to its simplest form by dividing with a suitable number, and that happens to be 2 because the HCF is 2 and we need to divide it, both the numerator and denominator, with 2. This is 5 by 6. So you can clearly see both of this are 5 by 6 and 5 by 6. And so this question is in a form wherein they are like terms. As of now, this is already in their like term form. Okay, this you need not convert as it's already in like term form. But I wanted to change this question to 5 by 8, right? Then how to do that and how to go about? It's quite simple. If I convert this to 5 by 8, they are not in like term form. So what we can do is we have to find the LCM between 8 and 16. And LCM between 8 and 16 is what? 2 4s are 3s are. These two are co-prime, so we have to take the product of 2 4 and 3, and that is 24. And post that we have to convert 5 by 8 to 24, denominator to be 24. For that we need to multiply with 3, 10 by 24, 5 by 6, 5 by 6, 4, 4, right? 20 by 24. And thus, if the question was of this nature, the like terms are 10 by 24 and 12 by 24. This is how you convert, and post this you can add and subtract. Okay, so there is a lot of things that I am writing. Not everything has to be written, okay, when you are actually doing a question. Right? Let's start off with the next problem. 5 by 15 by 20 and 8 by 64. Are they in the simplest form? Think about it. No, right? They are clearly not in their simplest form. Let me convert this question to a negative over here, a negative over there. Bit of variation. I don't want to just handle the positive ones. So now the first step will be convert this to something which is the denominator has the negative term. Since this already has, the next step I can do is divide with the HCF, and in this case the HCF is 5. So we have minus 3 by 4, right? Next is 8 by minus 64. So positive divided by negative is negative. 8 by 64. Now think about dividing with a number which is HCF between 8 and 64. In this case it's 8, right? So this will be minus 1 by, because negative divided by positive is negative, 8 divided by 8 is 1, 64 by 8 is 8. Now the question has changed to negative 3 by 4 to negative 1 by 8. Now you have to find the LCM between what? Yes, 4 and 8. So LCM between 4 and 8 is what? 8, right? So you will convert minus 3 by 4 to have 8 in the denominator by multiplying both the numerator and denominator with 2. So we have minus 3 into 2 is minus 6, negative 6 and 8. And so we have the like terms to be negative 6 by 8 and negative 1 by 8. Right? So all this again helps you in addition and subtraction, so you need to know. So we have few more questions. Just wait for a second. The next set of cases. Again, all this has to do with like and unlike terms itself, but different cases. Just mention it for the sake of learning. Okay, it's the same procedure. When we get a pair of denominator or set of denominator which are co-prime, right? So if we can see that they're co-prime, all you have to do is just multiply. If you want to convert, when you want to convert the unlike terms to like terms, all you have to do is multiply with the denominator of from the other fraction. In this case 2 by 3, the other denominator is 5. You multiply both the numerator and denominator with 5. So this is 10 by 15. Okay, and the next number is 4 by 5. Here too you multiply and divide with a number which is from which is the denominator of the other fraction. that is 3 by 3. So this is 12 by 15. So you can clearly see this question got converted to 10 by 15 and 12 by 15 as your like fractions. Okay, again all you have to do is multiply with the denominator which is from the other fraction, because come on, you guys understand that coprime between the coprime, not coprime, the HCF between any coprime, LCM between any coprime is, in this case, is the product of the coprime. Okay, it's the basic idea. So LCM between 3 and 5 is 15. So how do you make it 15? By multiplying 3 with 5 and 5 with 3. It's as simple as that. This was your first question. Now we are looking at the next question. 6 and 7 are coprime. So the LCM between 6 and 7 is 6 into 7. So with this in mind, I have to multiply 5 by 6 as, I have to multiply both the numerator and denominator with 7 by 7, that is 35 by 42. And the last question, the last number, 4 by 7, you can multiply with 6, 24 by 42. So you can clearly see all you have to do is multiply with the other fraction when we talking other fractions denominator when we talking about a fraction, right? When we have the denominator to be coprime. Okay. Again, if you don't want all this complication, if you want it to be straight and simple, just find the LCM between the given denominator and you're done. That's it. So don't think too much. This I introduced so that you guys know that this is also possible and that you should not get confused. That's all. Okay. Please don't get confused. You can do any method you guys want, but again, you need to improve your speed. For that, you need to learn tricks in time. You guys can't get stuck with whatever you know and not improve on your speed. Now, when we have three numbers, what do we do? Well, what we're looking at here is 2 by 5, 3 by 5, 4 by 5. So since the denominator are all 5s, so we have this, all of this to be like fractions. Okay, done. So this has to do, you need not do much over here. These are already like fractions. But what if we have negative over here and negative over there? Are they still like fractions? Yes, they're still like fractions. Does not matter if there is negative or if the fractions are positive. Only as and when you have denominators to be same, they are like fractions. Next question. First of all, here too you have to check if they are in the simplest form. This is in simplest form, this is also in simplest form, and this is also in simplest form. And now we are looking at HCF, not HCF, sorry, LCM between 5, 9 and 3. Is this correct, or have I written it wrong? Right, this is correct now. So we have to check for the LCM for the denominators, and in this case it happens to be 45. How did I do it? Again, you need to do your traditional way. If you have a question, 3, 5 is coprime with all of it, so 5 is to be neglected. You have 3 and 1, so 3 3 is a 9 and 5 is a 45. That's it. Okay, so first thing we have is 1 by 5. 1 by 5 is to be converted to like fractions by multiplying with what? Yes, 9. So 9 by 45. And the next one we have 2 by 9. 2 by 9 is to be multiplied with what? Yes, you guys are right. 10 by 45. And the last one, 2 by 3. And now, what do we need to multiply with? Okay. Yes, it is 15, 30 by 45. And now we have the given fractions to be like fractions. We converted that. Okay, so again all of this helps in addition and subtraction. We have one more question, so if you're not paused till now and tried it on your own, now is the time to do it, because the last few questions and we'll be done. All this is important for your addition and subtraction. In some cases multiplication and division also we use few of the concept over here, what we have done over here, over there as well. So first step is, are they in the simplest form? This is in simplest form, this is also in simplest, this too is in simplest, yes, this is also in simplest. Next is the LCM between what numbers? Right, these are the set of numbers. So 4, 9, 12 and 18. So we have even number, even number, even number, and we have 2 to start off with. Multiple of 3, multiple of 3, multiple of 3. So you need to start off with 3. Then it's very clear, 2. Again remember, you need not touch the number which is not part of, it does not have anything in common. Okay, then we have 3, right? So yeah, that's it, is it not? We have all the ones. So the LCM is the product of 2, 3, 2, 3. So 6 into 6, that is 36. And now the last step is to convert. So 5 by 4 is to be multiplied with what? 9 by 9. So this is 45 by 36. First one done. 4 by 9 into 4 by 4, that is 16 by 36. Next we have 11 by 12 into 3 by 3, 33 by 36, 5 by 18 into 2 by 2, right? 10 by 36, and thus we converted the unlike fractions to like fractions. Okay, done. That's it. So we have one more case, the case being when the fractions are not in simplest form. I know we have done few, but here again I've put it across so that we can see few cases just for the sake of revision. So before that, I want you guys to understand this is a symbol for not used in your programming languages. Not all, obviously. Few of the languages they use this. Mainly whenever I talk about programming, I talk about Python, because that's what you guys will be learning and it's much easier than other programming languages. A bit slower but easier to learn. So this is a symbol used there for not. Okay. So the fractions, before we find the what is it? Before we convert them to like fractions, we need to look at if they are in the simplest form. This is in simplest form, this is not in simplest form, so we have to convert that. So 13 by 39. How do you convert to simplest form? By dividing with the what? LCM or HCF? HCF. Since 13 can divide 39, HCF is 13, so 1 by 3. Now the question changed to 4 by 9 and 1 by 3, which is much easier than what we started off with. And now it's simple step of finding LCM between 9 and 13, 9 and 3, sorry, which is 9. And the first one is already converted. We have to convert the second one. 1 by 3 has to be multiplied with what? 3 by 3, which is 3 by 9. And thus we have 4 by 9 and 1 by 9 to be 1 by 3 to be 4 by 9 and 3 by 9, converting the fraction from unlike to like. Last few questions, don't stop. So we have 4 by 10, 5 by 10. Are they in simplest form? The first one is clearly not, second one is also not. So let's convert them. 4 by 10, okay, I'll do it here only. Okay, 4 by 10. the HCF is 2, this is 2 by 5, right? Then 5 by 50, HCF is, I've given simple numbers so that you guys can do it on your own and feel good. And don't worry, most of the time it is simplest numbers only. Complicated numbers, when you get in higher grades, you will have calculator, need not worry. So here 5 is the HCF, so 1 by 10, right? So the question converted to 2 by 5 and 1 by 10. So you need to find LCM between what two numbers? Be clear with that. Yes, 10 and 5, that is 10, is it not? So we have 10 as your LCM. So second one is already in the we have the denominator to be 10, so it is already in what we require, it's in that form. The second one is not, so we have to convert 2 by 5 to 2 by 5 into 2 by 2, this is 4 by 10, and thus we have 4 by 10 and 1 by 10 as your answer. Okay, see guys, again all these steps are only for you to understand. So this many steps need not be written at this point of time, once you are familiar with it, that is, because we are not looking at writing all of the steps because it won't carry any marks. Okay, so you need to understand how do you convert such complicated scenarios to a much simpler one and make your work faster. That's the whole idea. So try to, my suggestion is, for now, what you're looking at, try to do this the same way I have done it, so that your thought is clear. Once your thought is clear, the next time when you see a much simpler question, you won't go wrong. That's the whole idea, right? So again, should I do so many steps? No, you need not do so many steps. You can reduce a lot of steps by doing it mentally and writing the answer. Okay, so as and when you come across few questions in the future when we are doing your syllabus, I'll let you know how to do it faster. Again, this is the last question. Check if they are like simplest form. Not in simplest form. Clearly not in simplest form. Let's convert them. 3 by 9. 3 by 9 divided by 3 and 3. Is it not? 1 by 3. 4 by 20. 4 by 20 divided by 4 by 4, 1 by 5. 110 by 220, 110 by 220 divided by 110 divided by 110, right? Simple. 1 by 2. So we converted such a complicated looking problem to a much simpler one by knowing the basics. Now we are looking at finding the LCM between what terms? Let me know. Yes, 3, 5 and 2. Since these are co-prime between each other, I can directly write this as 30. 5 into 2 is 10, 10 into 3 is 30. Yes, I did 5 into 2 first for the sake of making things simpler, because 10 into something is quite simple rather than doing any other way. So learn the trick. Even though the number looks easy, try to do things much faster by taking pace which are easier to handle. This was much easier to handle than this or this, right? Okay, LCM is 30. We have to convert everything to 30. 1 by 3 is to be converted to 30 by multiplying with, very simple, 10. 10 by 30. And then we have 1 by 2. Converting into 30 by multiplying with 15. And last we have, okay, 1 by 5 I missed out. 1 by 5 into 6. And tada, we have all of them to be in their like fraction form. Very simple, but useful. Again, all of this is useful by default for your future maths. Okay, So see you guys in the next video with addition and subtraction.